Good morning all of you. I am Tanushree Ganai from Civil Engineering branch. So in the last class we discussed about the types of butt welds as you can see in the slides, and today we will discuss the specifications of the butt weld. So there are so many kinds of specifications regarding butt weld, and these all specifications are already present in the code book, which is IS 800-2007. So we don't need to remember all these specifications in brief, because we just need to check this specification according to solve the problems or solve the numericals. So the specifications is like size of the weld. So what kind of size we have to provide according to the types of the welding connection. These undergoes this specification. Then effective length of the butt weld, as I told in the last class. Another thing is effective area of the butt weld. Then reinforcement. So these are some specifications by which we can solve the numericals, and according to the design purpose, while we provide the welding in the structure. So at that time, this specification help us to provide a good strength to the structure by the help of welding connection. So now comes to the second types of the welding connection, which is fillet weld. So first of all, what is fillet weld? So this type of weld is used when the members to be connected overlap each other. A fillet weld is a weld of approximately triangular cross-section joining two surfaces approximately as right angles to each other in lap joint or T-joint. A fillet weld is shown in the figure A, that means this figure. So you can see it is the L section, or you can say it is the angle section, and at the junction of the two sections, fillet weld is provided, and the fillet weld is look like a shape of triangular, and this welding is known as your fillet welding. And for the fillet welding, the two part of the section is to be right angle to each other. Then when a cross section of fillet weld is 45 degree, then isosceles triangle, it's shown in B1, that means this figure, you can see this two plate is connected by fillet weld, and the angle of this fillet weld, you can see this angle and this angle is known as your angle of fillet. If the angle of the fillet is 45 degree and here also 45 degree, then this kind of fillet weld is known as your standard fillet weld, and it is one of the best joint of the weld for the better strength result for the structure. Then when the cross section of the fillet weld is 30 degree and 60 degree triangle, that means in this figure you can see the angle of the fillet at this portion, that means at the part of short leg means that vertical portion which is welded, the length of the welding portion is short as compared to this portion. So this one is the longer portion, or it is also known as long leg, and this portion is known as shorter portion or short leg. So the angle of the fillet weld here, it is 60 degree, and at the lower part it is 30 degree. If this kind of angle is provided in case of fillet weld, this is known as your special fillet weld. So as compared to the standard fillet weld and special fillet weld, the standard fillet weld is much more better than the special fillet weld. Normally, in case of structure, we used standard fillet weld according to the code. Then, according to the provision of fillet weld or the shape of the fillet weld, it is divided into three types. So one is your concave fillet weld, second one is your convex fillet weld, and third one is your mitre fillet weld. So in case of fillet weld, it is termed as concave fillet weld or convex fillet weld, and last one is your mitre fillet weld, depending on the weld face. Okay. So in case of convex fillet weld, you can see here the face of the fillet. You can see this portion is look like a curved section which is downward in direction, and this portion, that means the center of the fillet, is known as your effective throat. So you can see this portion of the welding is known as a concave shape. So the name of this weld is concave fillet weld. Then comes to the second figure. You can see this portion, and this portion of the weld is look like a curved section in the upward direction, which is convexity in nature. So if this kind of welding is provided in between two plates, then it is known as convex fillet weld. Then now comes to third one. You can see this portion of the fillet is look like an inclination, and it is beveled like structure. So if this kind of connection is provided in case of two plates, then this kind of fillet weld is known as mitre fillet weld. So now comes to another three types of fillet weld according to the provision of welding in case of plate. So first one is your side fillet weld, second one is your end fillet weld, and third one is your diagonal fillet weld. So in case of side fillet weld, why it is called as side fillet weld? That means when the weld is traced in longitudinal shear, that means a weld is axis of which is parallel to the direction of the applied load. This kind of fillet weld is known as side fillet weld, or it is also known as longitudinal fillet weld. So you can see these are the two plates which overlap with each other, and you see this portion, you can see the load is applied in this plate in the direction of right, okay, and the provision of the weld in the plate also in this direction at which the load is applied. So this welding portion is parallel to the applied load. So this kind of fillet weld is known as side fillet weld, or it is also known as longitudinal fillet weld. So now comes to the end fillet weld. So in case of end fillet weld, the fillet weld stressed in transverse shear, or the fillet weld exists of which it is right angle to the direction of the applied load, and it is also known as transverse fillet weld. So you can see this portion of the welding. So you can see this welding connection is right angle to the loading provision. So if the loading is in this direction and welding is perpendicular to the loading, so in that case this kind of welding is known as your end fillet weld or transverse fillet weld. The last one is your diagonal fillet weld. So here it is a fillet weld exist of which inclined to direction of the applied load. A fillet weld is placed on the side or end of the base metal, and it is subjected to shear along this tension or compression and usually bending. So overall you can see this portion of the plate, which again a beveled portion, and it is inclined towards the loading condition. So if the loading is this direction and the portion of the welding is inclined with respect to the loading condition, then this kind of weld is known as basically diagonal fillet weld. So these are the types of fillet weld, and as per the butt weld, in case of fillet weld also there are some specifications according to the code, which is size of fillet weld, then effective throatness, and effective throatness you have to determine by the formula, which is 1 by root 2 into size of the weld. That means 1 by root 2, which is 0.7 into size of the weld. So the size of the weld also we have to take from the code book, which is different according to the design. So in general, the purpose of stress calculation or the effective throat thickness, the value of 0.7 is a factor which we will take as K, and the K is a constant. The value of K for different angles between fusion phase, which is adopted from the code book. So here you can see the various angles of the fusion phase, and according to this fusion phase the value of K is different. So while the fusion phase angle is 60 and 90, that means fusion phase angle means you can see this angle, and this angle is your fusion phase angle. So while your fusion phase angle is 60 degree, 90 degree, then the value of K is your 0.7. If the fusion phase angle is 91 and 100, then the value of constant or K equal to 0.65. Then 101 to 106, then the value of K is 60 or 0.6. Next one is your, if the angle of the fusion phase is 107 and 113, then the value of K is 0.55. And last is your, if the angle of the fusion phase is 114 to 120, then the value of constant is 0.5. So a fillet weld is